Hey, this is Glendon Cameron. If you did not know, there is a new channel, The Disruptive Ninja. The link is below. If you sign up before the end of the month, everybody's going to get a free audio book, Getting Started. And yes, at some point this book will have a price. So if you go ahead and make their way over there and hit the subscribe button, you shall be golden. And that's pretty much it. Oh, no. Yeah, this one's going to be a burner. So if you're sensitive, you may not want to listen to this podcast. And with that, hey, this is Glendon with another episode of the American Hustler Podcast. But just a few warnings, disclaimers. If you are not accustomed to hearing the word fuck, if you're a sensitive little rabbit that shudders in the wind of a harsh comment, you may not want to listen. But if you're willing to make forward progress in your life, if you're willing to look deep inside whoever you are, you might just like this. You just might. Just saying. Just saying. And with that, let's go ahead and kick it. The dangers of a locked mindset. I've been really busy. If you didn't know, working on some more books. Yes, books. And if you have not seen me around Facebook, YouTube, that's what's going on, because I am committed to getting these projects done before the end of 2013. As part of my life, I'll go through tons and tons of emails. And I came across some emails that were laughable, because I don't know if you are a long-time listener. If you are, thanks very much. I appreciate it. Or you're relatively new to the G-verse. In any event, once again, thanks, appreciate it, welcome aboard. But I believe in embracing change. Now, just for some clarification, there's a lot of people that love to say what I am not on YouTube, Facebook, and other places. What is patently funny about these people is they can't define what I am. Now, what's really funny about this is I put it on YouTube every time I put out a video. I am a hustler. I am a staunch opportunist. And with that, I seize opportunities and benefit from them. That's what I do. It is not limited to picking or storage auctions. And really, I have put that really behind me. Only reason that I pick or get stuff is it's an addiction, okay? Just to be unvarnished, it's an addiction. But there's other ways. And just to give you a little deeper understanding, I had a goal as a kid to be able to get items at wholesale because I was poor and I wanted stuff and I couldn't buy stuff. So I was like, hey, if I can get it at wholesale or even cheaper than that, little did I know I was predicting my future. So I hustle or get stuff in the resale realm just to be able to get stuff for myself. Like the other day, I needed to redo my office. I got a desk that I sold, not the same desk. Don't lose your mind. It didn't come full circle like that. But I got this desk, which I know if I was in the commercial office furniture business, I would be selling for $500. I got this desk for $60. I got a chair because, I had a Herman Miller on, and it's cool, but I wanted something else. So I actually sold that to start Reselology. And I've got this other chair for $40. And the retail on that sucker is $500. Fully ergonomic, does everything. It's very, very cool. Heavy as heck. But $100. So I got almost $1,000 retail worth of stuff for $100. And we're talking about less than 10% because you factor in taxes, whatever. I hustle for those kind of deals for my personal life, and I flip a few other things because that's how I roll. But the main thrust of what I do is I'm an internet marketer. That's what I am. I'm an internet marketer. If I heard, Glendon is a storyteller, which is true. Glendon is an internet marketer, which is true. Glendon's not a picker. I do a little picking. So based upon the parameters of picking, if you're new and you go out picking once a year, you're a picker. So I am A lot of things. I am officially no longer a storage auction buyer. I don't buy storage auction units because of the time involved, and I like what I do. I'll tell you, I like my life now. I love it. I'm not even going to lie to you. And this is the better way. I put out in a video years ago that I gave up what I was making in the storage auction business to make more money later on. And that's what I see in the next 5 years because, see, this is the thing about the disruptive economy. I have always kept my ear in the tech world. I've always read Inc. magazine. If you don't have a subscription, get a subscription. It's cheaper. It's like $10 a year. You get 10 copies. And Fast Company is another one to get a subscription to. And I'm always reading this stuff, whether I'm doing it or not. There are many people who have, and this is where I come in with the locked mindset. If it does not serve my immediate need, I have no use for it. I can understand situational focus, where if you're working on a project and you block everything out, I totally get that. But if you're just working, and many resellers are like that, it's like, hey, I'm just a picker forever and ever and ever, and I'm not going to do anything else. And I'm thinking, really? So you have locked down your life. You're not doing anything else. And you're just going to pick. So if an opportunity comes up where you could triple your income, you're going to go, I'm not going to do that because I'm a picker and I love picking. Bullshit. Fuck you. Why are you lying to me? You can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to me, because if better opportunities come your way, you are going to jump on them like a pretty chick that spread her legs on a bed and said, come to me, daddy. Whatever. Stop lying. The deal is, there are many people who are, for a lack of a better word, have no orientation of life. They have no code of ethics. They have nothing. They're just kind of a reactionary type person. And many of these people have a locked mindset because they hold on to certain beliefs, whether they serve them or not. So it gives them a basis to form a reaction. Notice I said a reaction, not a thought. Now, this is one of the biggest dangers of a locked mindset. You could actually miss something very good, wonderful, awesome, over the top, out of this world, because you refuse to mentally shift. And I'll look at it because, I'll share with you one of the emails. And I'm not going to read it because it's too long. But, hey, Glendon, I got into storage auctions because of you. And, I'm a little disappointed that you are not in the storage auction business anymore. It's like, your information was great a few years ago, but now, it's kind of like all over the net. And just blah, 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 blah. So because you got in the storage auction business, I was supposed to put my dreams, ambition, and life goals on hold so you can feel good about yourself? Fuck you, you wimp. Yeah, I said that. If you want to unsubscribe, go right ahead. You should unsubscribe, because I'm about progression, growth, and moving forward. Storage auctions did so much for me. I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity. I am over the top in deep gratitude to all of the people who bought the books and the comments, the people who are members of the G-verse. I am really, really thankful. However, my primary goal is freedom. Once again, my primary goal is freedom of choice. The storage auction business has become more repressive. It used to be back in the day, if you were a regular, you could do whatever. When people are like, yeah, you only have 2 days. Regulars are laughing because if I needed a week, I could get it. If I needed a month, I can get it because I was a regular. Now, because of the laws of supply and demand, there are way more people out there that want those units, that the storage facilities now have this pretty girl syndrome. It's like, either you're going to do what I want or I'm going to date Johnny. And that's how it is. It wasn't like that. I remember a storage manager at Public Storage begging me to come to an auction because there was 2 big units there, and he knew that the people that were with him would not bid on those big ass units. I was somewhere else. He called me up and he said, look, would you come over? So I get there, and I'm late. I haven't even signed in. So I'm going up there, the units come up, and I'm just like, whoa, they're 2 10x20s, full from the rooter to the tutor. And he called, and I was like, I said $100 each just to make him feel good. Those were $1,000, $1,500 units. And that's how it was. So it's totally different. Now, with the locked mindset, you have people that make decisions for the rest of their life with little regard to how things may change in the future. And it's just like, and give you an example, and this is dealing with the storage auction business. I read this article about this woman. She had 2 storage units that were costing her $600 a month. And she eventually lost these units. And this woman had put her hopes and dreams on this stuff. And I know I come from a lofty position because to me it's just stuff. After buying thousands of units, going through all, it's just stuff. And she had put so much weight and money on things that really could be replaced, because from buying a lot of units, I know that the truly irreplaceable stuff at most is going to fit in a walk-in closet. At most, for most people, in a walk-in closet, unless you just had an aunt, grandfather who had this mansion and then everything in there was irreplaceable. But most people, a walk-in closet at most to a small closet that will accommodate all those irreplaceable things. And, she was holding on versus letting go, selling the stuff, because this went on for 3 years, $600 a month. She spent $18,000 holding on to stuff. That's the danger of the locked mindset, because for many years I used to go, why did these people keep renting this stuff? Because and a lot of times what they paid in rent or their rental contracts for any unit, and then you can find out how long they had the unit, and a lot of times they paid way more money than what the stuff was worth. They actually paid 2, 3, 4, 5 times over for the same stuff when you really look at it from a dollar to nickel standpoint. And that comes from that locked mindset. I tell anyone that asks me, if you're going to rent a storage unit, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months tops. If you're going out of the country, you're in the military, that's like a whole different ball of wax. But that's not the typical situation. Don't sell it. If you don't need it, sell it. Do not hold on to it. Don't hold on to it. I'm not talking about, grandma's dress and little Amy's going to grow up and she's going to wear it at her wedding. You can actually put that in some plastic, steam it, hang it up in the closet, and it takes up not even an inch of square space. So, no, sell it. Do not put all of this stuff in storage and pay on it for months and months and years, because you are throwing good money after bad money. And I saw it for years. And, for the folks who did that, thank you, because you made me a lot of money, because you had this stuff in there. And when it got to the point where you could not pay anymore, then here I come, or my peers at the time, and we just buy your stuff for not pennies on the dollar, hey pennies, a quarter of a penny on the dollar, and flip it. So that's the danger of the lock mindset, holding on to stuff, staying in relationships that are way past their prime. I mean, the relationship's over, but no one's called it. It's like that, overtime, but the clock stopped working, and it's just going on and on and on and on. Well, the game's been over for a long time. Now, in reference to hustling, if you are a hustler, and I've seen people that I would say have experience say something like this, and I've seen people with not experience, and they'll say like, I am comfortable with X, Y, Z. Your growth points are not going to happen in a comfortable place. Your growth points are going to happen in places like, oh shit, this is stressing me the fuck out. Example, YouTube. My first year, YouTube was stressing me the fuck out. Every time I turned around, I was doing something wrong. Videos were getting flagged. It was crazy. And I was just like, what the hell? There was so many rules and nuances of what you could not do. And I dedicated myself, because I had uber motivation, because the more videos I put up, the more books I sold. There was a direct relationship between the activities. So I was like, hey, because the blog wasn't working, paid advertising wasn't working, but YouTube was working. So understand, I just gave you 2 things there. Making YouTube videos now is a passion of mine, But what did I just tell you? I didn't like it the first year. I hated it. I left my old original videos up on purpose for two reasons. Number one, I can look back and see what an idiot I was. I was like, man, you didn't have lights on. You didn't have a mic. You were using this cheap ass camera. And I can laugh at it because it shows the journey of where I was to where I am going. Notice not where I've arrived, because I'm still going. I'm still trying to make this thing better. And see, when you have that lock mindset, it's like, if it can't be perfect the first time, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Oh, no, I'm not going to do it, because I may look stupid or embarrass myself, and people may point and laugh, and I'm too much of a weak ass bitch to deal with that. I'd rather act like shit's fine and be suffering on the inside and no one know. I mean, that's how people are. And another reason, just to any of you YouTubers, if you have videos up and they're getting some traction, do not delete them, because this is how YouTube works. Older videos that get constant views get ranked higher. So you can slice off half your views by getting rid of older videos because you don't want to look at them anymore. Yeah, and cut your money on AdSense. Maybe be nickels, maybe dollars, but hey, why lose money when you don't have to? Now, with that, the whole YouTube thing, it's a wonderful experience. Go through the process. You will learn a lot, because I was willing to weather that storm. It created a new income stream for me because I help people do videos and podcasts. I didn't hate that stuff. Go to the comfort zone and then let the air out that bitch, tear the walls down, and start living in an uncomfortable zone. That's where success happens. That's where growth happens. Because when you have this locked mindset, it's just, well, that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be, and it's never going to change. For all practical purposes, you are now dead. You're mentally dead. There's a tombstone on your forehead saying, born in such and such date, and the minute that you stop taking chances, the minute you develop this locked mindset, is the day that your ass died. And there are people this happens to in their 30s. There are people it happens to in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And then there are other folks such as myself. It's never happened. I still do stuff. The other day, I was in a store. Yeah, I know I'm cripping going to the store. And there was a skateboard on the floor. And I got on that bitch. And I could still ride a skateboard. I was like, and this lady in the aisle looked at me like, what is wrong with you? I mean, disapproval was written all over her face. And I just gave her the Hawaiian, aloha sign, and just went around the corner on the skateboard. And I was like, dang, I can still ride the skateboard. Oh, for those of you that know, yes, I used to do the skateboard, used to do the tricks, flip over and everything. And I even used to break dance. But when I went from being 5'7", because I had two growth spurts, when I went from 5'7" to 5'9", and then I went from 5'9" to 6'1", that stuff just became a trip. It was like my whole center of gravity. And if you notice this, most break dancer, gymnasts, they're like 5'7" or under 5'9". There's a reason. Center of gravity is more compact, limbs are shorter. It's easier to do those moves. Because if you see the breakthroughs, especially those guys that do cartwheels, I used to be able to do a cartwheel. When I got too tall, that shit went out the window. But it makes a difference. But when you're in the possession of a locked mindset, you're pretty much saying no to life. Because one of the things that I have found out, and I'm really beginning to appreciate more and more, is not having a locked mindset. Locked mindset prepares you for the rigors of the new economy, which is steeped in change. I read a statement today: disrupt or be disrupted. Those are your two choices. That's it. There is no, unless you're fantastically wealthy, you don't even have to be fantastically wealthy. Say you got a net worth of 6-7 mil and you can live off the interest. You don't have to play this game. But that's what's going on in the world right now. That's what's going on. Another thing with the locked mindset, and it cracks me up is people want you to stay where you are in life. It's one thing is an individual, you make the decision, and it could be a passive decision or it could be an active decision where you're just like, I'm not going to grow anymore as a person. That's all well and cool. I believe in free will, freedom of choice. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. I have a problem, as evidence in the emails that I got, that you want me to be stagnant also. It's not bad enough that you're like pond algae, just laying there in the sun, shimmering in your blue-green self, but you want me to come to the pond and be algae with you. That makes no sense, because I'm like, going through these emails and I'm laughing my ass off because I'm going to tell you resellers something. Most of America doesn't want to do what you're doing because it's hard freaking work. Being a picker, being a storage auction buyer, being a hustler. Most people come to these places out of need versus more of desire. I am a hustler of desire. I used to be a hustler out of need. And the distinction is when I was operating out of need, I reached a certain level and I just hit a ceiling. When you operate out of desire, purpose, there is no ceiling. There is no limits, which goes to the core of this whole podcast. There's inherent danger in the locked mindset because you could choke off some of the best things that are yet to come into your life. Totally choke it off before it even has a chance to breathe. And I have friends that are going through that right now. And then it's like, because someone said this to me a few weeks ago, well, because, you're such an age, you should act this way. No, I should not. As a fully evolved person, I can act any way that I want that doesn't break the law or infringe on the rights of others. Because once again, not only do I believe in free will and freedom of choice for you, I embrace it in my life also. And that's one of the things, because I look at it, and I told a friend this, and some people may be insulted, but this is how I feel. That if I had stayed in Alabama, I would probably be around 450 pounds and one of the most repressed, narrow-minded people that I know. Because there was a lot of good in Alabama, a lot of good values, but sometimes people just adopt a certain mindset, and I don't care how much evidence comes contrary after the point, they're just not going to change their minds. It's just like, it's almost like concrete that's set, and the only way to break that is to actually get a jackhammer and chip it up. That was one of my jobs when I was a scrub. And I'm telling you, a jackhammer will break your ass down. It's just, first it's 100 and something pounds, but all that all day long, man, you get home, you are broke down. But I'm grateful for the experience, because during my scrub phase, when I was going from homeless to living in a boarding house to moving up to another house, moving up, like the Jeffersons, moving on up, it exposed me to a tremendous amount of experiences in a very short period of time. And when I talk about the dangers of the locked mindset, I am not impervious to what a mind fuck that is, because I thought I was losing my mind. I was like doing this job. I was working at the temp agency. I might in 1 week work 5 different kind of jobs. And it was just like, I just felt unsettled. I just felt like my world had no stability. Then one day it just stopped bothering me. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to this job. As long as I am making money to pay these bills, okay. I didn't know that shift in mindset would serve me so well later in life, because a lot of people, and especially like women with dating, they want to find a guy, he act right, date, have fun, date. Because just because you like a guy and he has all the check marks on your checklist, it means nothing. If he's not feeling you in the same manner you feeling him, it means absolutely nothing. Let that shit go. And another way that the locked mindset is really, really dangerous is it could keep you broke. And I'll give you an example. Another email that I read today, and I was just going over it, and this is a person who is trying to do the storage auction business, but they're trying to do it out of their car. And I've talked about it, and I've talked about it. You need the tools of the storage auction business to be successful, or you're just going to stay at a level forever and be utterly frustrated to watch brand new people come in with better equipment than you and surpass you. It's going to happen. And I've talked to him, and I was like, look, you might need to give up storage auctions for 6 months to a year, get your money together, get your life, because there's other things going on with this person's life that are really, really bad. And, you know, it was just like, no, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm like, dude, it ain't for you right now. I wanted to write books in the 80s, late 80s. I wanted to write books mid-90s. I wanted to write books in 2000. It didn't, my chance, and I, you know, and this is not about if you have a dream or a goal that, you know, you shouldn't chase it. This is realizing, is it the season for you to chase your dream or goal? Because I had it, and this is something else. I never stopped writing. I didn't write as much, but I never stopped writing. And when it was it was kind of strange how it came about, but I held on to that goal, and I took one more swing at it, and it worked out very well. So just because you have a goal, it may not be feasible for you to do it now. This doesn't mean you have to give up on your goal. It means you may have to downgrade it. You may have to backtrack. Instead of doing your goal at 100%, you only can do it at 5%. And I will tell you, as my experience of writing books, it will work out if you're diligent and honest. Because the first thing you have to do is clean up stuff in your personal life. That's one of the biggest barriers to people chasing dreams. Personal life, finances. Personal life, number 1 and 2. A kid who lives at home with mom and dad has more freedom to start a business than a guy who is 38 years old with a wife and 2.8 kids and 3.5 dogs and a boat and a motorcycle, just capital intensively loaded. I mean, you can't take a day off unless it's a PTO. That's not the prime example or prime way to start a business. You're better off if you're like flat broke with no expenses. You have the freedom to pursue. You have the freedom to make mistakes and not be so pressed that if this money isn't in by the 4th, oh Lord, it's going to be some terrible consequences. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. Other ways that the locked mindset that are super damaging is you could go mad. You have people that don't know how to dream new dreams. I talked about this before. You know, my goal was go to the military, stay 3 years, get the GI Bill, work out, and then try to walk on to the University of Alabama football team. Mother got sick, was legally blind for 3 years, and that was the sole source of income. I'm not going to sit here and go happy. I was pissed. I was like, damn. But it was my family, and I just couldn't leave them hanging. But I had to push my dream off to the side. And there was other things, because I learned how to dream new dreams. And people are like, well, you know, people don't know how to do. You know what? I am sick of the excuses. If you know how to breathe, you know how to think, you can make changes in your mental makeup. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying it can be done. So I had that dream. Then I was in the military. It's like I was going to start this big old conglomerate business. That didn't work out. And I really, really pushed it and failed and failed and failed. And in an odd way, that dream came to be also, but on a different level. So what I'm saying to you is you have to be malleable to life. Don't have to give up on your dreams. You can get what you want, but if you have what I call the Nazi control mindset, like there was this movie years ago, Tommy Davidson and the guy that used to be on the Cosby Show. He was the husband that was in the Navy. I forget his name, but they did this movie, and This Tommy Davis was saying she was one of those military bitches, left, right, talking about fucking, and she would tell you how to hit it and this, everything. That is another dangerous way to be, that you must control all of this. You got to control when they walked in the room, how fast they walked, what color. I mean, that type of locked mindset is suffocating to anybody with a spirit. And you have people like that. I've worked for people like that, and it's just like, oh, I got to get out of here, because that's a lot of fear. There's fear that you're going to fail, and if you're going to fail, you have to make sure that you control everything. Now, on another level, there are people who are geniuses, and they absolutely, positively demand 100% control, and it works out for them. Two different levels, but those people are rare. Those people are rare, because if you're just an average person and you're trying to micromanage every aspect of your life, you're going to drive yourself crazy, and you're going to drive people away. It just will be. It's just how it's going to be. Another part of the locked mindset, and it's running rampant in the world, is a refusal to educate oneself. Now, watching a YouTube video is part of educating yourself. Reading a book is part of educating yourself. But real education happens when you create the lab, when you actually get started, go out there and make mistakes. And there are people who are like the writing groups. Prime example of this mindset. Prime example. When I joined one writing group, I made a statement that it doesn't take 10 years, or, if you have to rewrite something 30, 40 times, you probably suck as a writer. What the hell did I say that for? People were pissed. Inadvertently, I had bitch slapped a whole bunch of folks, and I didn't know. And then it was kind of like walking into a hornet's nest in the dark. And you're like, thump, what was that? And you're thinking you just hit this one thing when you hit this big hive, and then all of a sudden there's like hundreds of bees stinging your ass. And that's what happened to me. I mean, people were going out like, oh, it speaks poorly of you. And I mean, folks were like coming after me. And, at that time I was still on the internet, and I was going back. I got some good zings in. I actually shut 2 people down. They wouldn't comment anymore because I was killing them. And then this one guy, he kept going on. And, well, I'm working on the masterpiece, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. And it took me 10 years to write the first book. Fast forward 2 years later, this same mofo, because actually he did change his mindset. So he's not putting, he's doing everything that I had put out 2 years ago, that what you need to do to be successful as a writer. Write fast, pay attention to what's going on in the world. And I was just like tripping. And a friend of mine who remembers the pile-on, we talk about it, and she's like, isn't that a 180? Because the thing is, when you're open to the world, sometimes you're going to have to change original opinions because they don't work or they were wrong. I do it all the time. I have no problem. Like, you know what? That shit didn't work. I was wrong. I was wrong. I mean, that can be one of the most liberating things you can say. I was wrong. I made a mistake. Oh, well, that's how you don't do that. Let's move on. And with writers, it's like, oh, I'm not going to release it till it's perfect. I have a dear friend who is a brilliant writer, and she just finished her first book, which could have been done 4 years ago. And I know you're like, well, she does it at her own pace. Or understand, this is the American Hustler podcast. None of that namby-pamby bullshit, okay? If you want to do something, fucking do it. All this, well, in their own. No, it's fear. It's fear. I know this individual. Do not tell me what it is. I know what the fuck it is. It's fear based on conversations we had. And it could have been done years ago. And now it's done, and she's rewriting and everything. And I don't think this book's ever going to, and no one's ever going to see it. Because she's so scared that someone may read it and not like it or think poorly of her, that her life may end, or heaven forbid, the squirrels would come in her house with wooden knives fashioned of wood and stab her in her eyes and cut off her fingers so she can't type no more. I don't know. But this fear, because what I have learned, your quickest way to grow as a writer is to write some stuff, put it out there, and have people blast it. There's going to be people who are going to hate it just because they don't like you. There's going to be a group of people that are going to hate it because they just don't like the genre. And then there's going to be another group of people who are going to like, well, this is wrong. And they hate it because it didn't strike a chord with them. And that third group of people will help you grow like nothing else in the world. Because I've learned how to separate, because the people who don't like it, they give you detailed feedback. It's like, well, this was wrong and this was wrong. And they're not just saying, I hate this because it has your name on it. No, there's like, well, this is wrong and this didn't work for me or this was challenging. They give you real feedback. And that stuff is invaluable, but you are not going to get that feedback with the locked mindset. It's not going to happen because you are always right. You're always right. And no one else can tell you you're wrong. Now, let's talk about me and YouTube channel. Like, one of the biggest things that I have just really, really been a source of irritation for a lot of people that like me is I use the word fuck. I cuss a lot. I said, fuck you. I say some horrible stuff to people. And they're like, Glendon, if you didn't use so much profanity, you have more people listening to you. And you know what? They are 100% correct. Now, this is part of the hustler mindset. You get to choose the life that you want. Now, I could tone it down and I can pull fuck out and I could pull, fuck you out, and I could pull things out that, the big penis in the sky is coming to get you if you don't do the right things in your life. I could pull that out. But at that point, I become no longer authentic. At that point, I'm no longer myself. I am this contrived thing that's trying to get people to listen to me by not being true to myself. So in essence, I would rather someone come to this YouTube channel and go, oh God, no, not that guy. I can't listen to that. And they go somewhere else. Cool. I'm totally 100% cool with that. Because when I do get someone that comes to the G-verse, they stay a long ass time. And they stay and they like it. And I think that's a beautiful thing because I am speaking to my people who believe as I believe. That's a better community. That's a better tribe. That's a better world for me. Because, as someone put in the comments, if the word fuck runs you off, you're in for a rude awakening with starting your own business. You're going to want to use that word when you are in your space and the fire marshal's there and the building inspector's there, and you got to make a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 change to satisfy the requirements of code to get your damn business license. You will not be going, okay. No, you might be going, fuck you. You may not say it to them. You might be in your car, fuck, as you go to the bar to get that stiff drink with no ice, No, just shit, give me the bottle because it's been one of those kind of days. You might start using some of those choice words because at that point, your life has become real. It's very easy to say I would do X, Y, Z in a situation than being in that situation. And no, that did not happen to me, but it happened to a good friend of mine. I was there and it was not a happy day. So that's the whole thing about the hustler mindset. Being who you are attracts people who like it. And I'm not for everybody. I'm not fit for human consumption all the time. And that's a really cool thing because if you can embrace your flaws and you can embrace certain things, other people will too. But as long as you're putting on this face, this facade, I wasn't going to speak on it, but the conversations kind of go this way. There's a few people on YouTube who want to be bigger than they really are, and they're doing all kind of crazy stuff that's actually going converse to what they want to achieve. These folks, they don't like me, which is cool. No one's going to like. And they actually are going out saying, hey, don't listen to Glendon. But this is the thing that's so wild about it. The more that they tell people not to listen to me, the more subscribers I get. I've had a lot of consults from people who used to watch these people because they're like, what the hell? So that's another part of the locked mindset. When you get locked in on something and you start to be absorbed by hate, because see, you're not absorbing the hate. The hate has absorbed you and the hate is controlling you to the point that you lose objectivity. Because if these folks knew that they're making me more money, they're giving me more clients, they may just kill themselves. And that's one of the things that I learned, because when I came on YouTube, I was still in storage auction aggressive mode, and people say stuff to me and I'll say something back to them. And I had to let that go, because I'm like, okay, this is a different medium. This isn't the storage auction world. What was working there is not going to work here. Actually, it's going to drive people away. And a lot more people. Like I said, the profanity, not going anywhere. Only way, because this channel is going to stay super, super raw, because that's how it started and that's how it's just going to go. The new channel, the Disruptive Ninja, is a totally different thing, and it's a totally different world. It will be a little cleaner, but not much. It'll be a little cleaner. The fuck word will make it over there too. But that's just me. And, if anything, I'm an example that you can build a business, you can sell products, and you can be yourself. Are you going to get everybody in the world? No, because there's this whole thing that's trying to make everything homogenized, where everything's the same. That doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for a lot of people. Right now, people are craving authenticity. They want someone, if you ask them a question, they give you an answer, not a theory or, some cute political correct thing. And, I'm not running for office. I don't think I ever will. So I can just let the nuts drop wherever they may drop. And if they're on someone's chin, oh well. But the whole deal is, learn to recognize when certain behaviors and mindsets are not working for you anymore. Because having a firm mindset, having a conviction toward a goal is one thing. But when your mindset is so locked down that common sense or new ideals cannot penetrate, that is eminently harmful. It is very, very harmful, because I'm telling you, my people, the new economy is going to be one of the biggest shifts of power and wealth than ever before. And it's going to be, you got two choices. You can be a disruptor or you can be disrupted. Right now, what's going on is someone from their spare bedroom can start an online furniture store and compete with the bigs because they're selling on price. That was not, I'm not recognizing that business model because the margins are thin. But what I'm saying is it can be done. There's so many things that are coming that are just going to be over the top awesome. And if you're just like, hold up. It just hit me. Biggest thing that has been disproved recently of the locked mindset is you must go to college, get a degree to be successful. That locked mindset, I've got friends going through there right now, and I've been trying to teach them how to hustle. They don't want to learn because it doesn't sit well with the narrative of what a person who is successful does. I have friends who are still trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing because it makes no sense to them, even if I explain it to them and draw pictures, because they refuse to accept that a person can make decent money to a lot of money from unconventional ways and it not be illegal. I remember one friend was like, well, what you do? Isn't that kind of shady? I was like, what's shady about it? I sell a product, people buy it. Where's the shade? I mean, seriously, this whole matrix has people so indoctrinated that if they don't get in their car and drive somewhere to get a check, maybe something's not right. Something could be wrong. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Let me get this thing. You work at home and you pay your bills and all this other stuff, and you just work at home? You don't work for a company? What? I don't know about that. That sounds a little risky. I mean, seriously, people think like that. You know what's risky? Going to a job for 10 years, and like I said, I recommend this movie, The Company Man, Tommy Lee Jones, Ben Affleck. It's on Netflix. Watch it. That's risky, because I won't fire myself. But you could be fired at will, whether you're doing an outstanding job, does not matter. Now, that's risky. So, that's some stuff for you to chew on. And, there'll be more chats. I'm actually going to do some hangouts on the new channel. Totally different stuff. And like I said, if you're looking for stuff that's part of the new economy, new ways of thinking, some other things that I have done that I haven't really shared on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. The Disruptive Ninja, links below. And if you want to begin to alter your mindset, get the book, The Hustler Mindset. It's an audio book and you can get immediate gratification. Hit the link, buy it, and you can be listening to it in seconds. All right, this is Glendon, and I will see you on the good side.